Ladies and gentlemen, from the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace and Justice, Deacon Gerald Celente.
Hello, everybody. This is Deacon Gerald Celente of the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace and Justice. 3 words that are blacklisted by the governments running a country near you. I've been warning that World War III has already begun. In fact, it was the cover of our Trends Journal magazine back in February 22nd, 2022, over 2 years ago. The magazine cover read from COVID war to Ukraine war to World War. The United States is just sending another $1.7 billion to Ukraine as the country rots in front of our eyes, as homeless and migrants fill the streets, as the bridges break up and the roads are all rotten and the train system is third world, as 70% of the people living paycheck to paycheck. More money for war. And it's only going to get much worse. Russia unleashes drone attack on Kyiv. Yep, the biggest one ever. Almost 90 drones against Ukraine in one of its largest attacks since the start of the full-scale invasion in 2022. No peace allowed. Yep. It marked an escalation of Russia's renewed offensive, which has prompted Ukrainian forces to also increase their aerial attacks on Russian targets, which the United States and its NATO allies are sending so they could strike deeper into Russia. The U.S. has announced that it will send $1.7 billion in military aid to Ukraine, including an array of munitions, artillery, mortars, missiles. Isn't that nice? Yep. And then, U.S. giving Manila $500 million in new military aid as China looms. Ooh, this is from the toilet paper of record. This past Wednesday. As China looms. This stuff has been going on for centuries. It's not my business. I'm an American. I believe in the founding fathers, no foreign entanglements. George Washington's farewell address. Don't love a nation, don't hate a nation. You become a slave to them if you do. And he said this stuff has been going on for centuries. We're not going to solve it. We shouldn't get involved in it. It's the evil people, the war machine maniacs that are running the world. War after war after war. This was from Haaretz, the Israeli newspaper, on July 30th. IDF says Hezbollah commander behind deadly Majdal Shams attack killed in Beirut. 3 people were killed in the strike and 85 wounded. They targeted Hezbollah's number 2 man, who the IDF says was responsible for the strike on, I don't know how to pronounce this properly, Majdal Shams, that killed 12 on Saturday. Yeah, that was in the Golan Heights, land stolen by Israel and occupied by the Druze. Not the Israelis, the Druze. So are the people that were killed, a lot of people are saying, were Arabs, the 11 children. And this is the front pages of the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, showing the funerals of these people. Okay, 11 killed. How about the 40,000 Palestinians that have been killed. And every day, 35, 40, 50, 100 being killed. Places bombed into ruins. How come they're not showing those pictures every day or ever? They don't show those pictures of Palestinians being murdered and slaughtered on front pages. Oh, they'll cover it in the back pages someplace, but not like that. And Hezbollah denied that they did that. They said, we didn't do it. We admit when we attack. We didn't. It wasn't our attack. So who's lying? And then we cover the world. This is from the Iranian news agency, ISNA. Iran condemns Israeli aggression on Lebanon. Iran has condemned the Israeli attack on Beirut, urging the UN Security Council and UN Security Secretary General to take immediate action and to hold Israel accountable for its violations of international law and humanitarian principles. No, Israel could kill anybody they want anywhere, just like the United States can. That's the mentality of murderers. There's no humanitarian principles needed. The letter noted that members of the Security Council must not be fooled by Israel's distorted narratives. The latest acts of aggression and cowardly attacks by Israeli regime today, 30 July 2024, targeting civilians and civilian infrastructures in the southern suburbs of Beirut, Lebanon, demonstrates that this regime has no respect for the rules and principles of international law. You're no kidding. Look at the genocide they're committing in Israel in front of everybody's eyes. And the United States supporting it as both candidates that are running for president, Harris and Trump, support it. And Trump said he supports it more than Harris. Iran leader, the Zionist regime prepared the ground for its severe punishment. This is after they killed the Hamas diplomat who was at the presidential inauguration in Tehran. And they claim Israel killed him. By the way, the guy that they killed was the peace negotiator for Hamas in Qatar. So they killed the peace negotiator. And from the head of Iran, the Imam Khamenei, he said, following this bitter, tragic event, which means the killing of that gentleman, which has taken place within our borders of the Islamic Republic, we believe it is our duty to take revenge. Isn't that nice? As they used to say in the Bronx, payback's a bitch. The Hezbollah head, Nasrallah, said, Israel will weep for killing top commander. He said Israel's, quote, crossed the red line in the killing of the Hezbollah military chief in Beirut. And he said a new phase of fighting has begun, and Israel, quote, will terribly weep. But not according to Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel. He said Israel delivered crushing blows to enemies. He goes on to say, speaking this evening, Mr. Netanyahu said, Israel, quote, has delivered crushing blows to our enemies, explicitly the killing of this Hezbollah leader in South Beirut. Citizens of Israel, he said, challenging days lie ahead. Since the strike in Beirut, there are threats sounding from all directions. We are prepared for any scenario, and we will stand united and determined against any threat. Israel will exact a heavy price for any aggression against us from any arena. He's missing something there. It's not that Israel will extract a heavy price. Israel will get hit with a heavy price. Hezbollah defeated Israel in the Lebanon War in 2006. After Israel killed the Iranian commander in Damascus, Syria, at the consulate, Iran said they would respond, and they did, with drones and missiles. It cost Israel $1.3 billion to try to stop those, which they didn't stop a lot of them. And Iran targeted special areas so they didn't kill people, but show what they could do. And then, of course, Israel says if they lose, they have the Samson option, which means they go nuclear. That's right. They go nuclear, and the United States will support them even if they don't, to ramp up the war. IDF on high alert as Biden vows to defend Israel against all threats from Iran. This is from the Times of Israel. The Israeli Defense Forces on Thursday said it was on high alert as the country braces for a response to the assassination this week of Hezbollah's military chief in Beirut and Hamas leader in Tehran, but pledged the military knows how to handle any threat. What stupidity and arrogance. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke with President Joe Biden, who the White House said stressed America's commitment for defending Israel's security against all threats from Iran. Okay, so Israel could do anything they want, kill anybody anywhere in Iran or any other Iranian, and the Iranians retaliate, then the United States defends Israel for their security. How sick is this? Where is the outrage? How satanically evil to make these statements. Israel could slaughter who they want, and America's right there behind them, because after all, look at the track record of America's wars. And he only killed about 1 million in Iraq on a war based on lies. Oh, how many hundreds of thousands in Afghanistan? Oh, I forgot the Vietnam War, only about 3.5 million. On and on and on. We're having a peace and freedom rally on September 28th up here in Kingston, New York, on the Four Corners of Freedom. The speakers include Judge Andrew Napolitano, Scott Ritter, Max Blumenthal, Anya Parampil, and others. We want 1 million people up here. We want our voices of peace to be heard. We have evil, demonic people called politicians that are running and ruining the world. The Repulsivkins are now attacking Biden for not giving them more weapons to keep slaughtering the Palestinians. That's right. Yep. Nasrallah, Israel will weep for killing top commander. Again, one after another. And then this article here. Israeli lawmaker says raping Palestinian prisoners is legitimate. This is from antiwar.com. Hanak Milwitsky, a member of the Likud party, made this comment in a debate about the arrest of Israeli soldiers at the prison. It's July 31st. A member of the Israeli Knesset has defended the idea of raping Palestinian prisoners after Israeli soldiers suspected of sexually torturing detainee at the detention facility were arrested. The arrest took place Monday, sparking protests from far-right activists, including several members of the Knesset. In a meeting of lawmakers on the day of the arrest, Hanak Milwitsky, a member of Netanyahu's Likud party, was asked if it was legitimate, quote, to insert a stick into a person's rectum. Milwitsky replied, yes, if he is a Nukba, Nukhba, Nukba, Hamas militant. Everything is legitimate to do. Everything. Isn't that nice? Everything's legitimate to do. We could torture anybody we want, anywhere we want, if we call them anybody that we want. And these are the people, by the way, that say they're God's chosen people. Not the God that I believe in, because the God that I believe in is different than the God that you believe in. God does not choose a people. That is arrogant, narcissistic, deranged mentality statement. God's chosen people, according to Naomi Wolf, a doctor, Naomi Wolf, who's Jewish, it's not about religion or ethnicity. God's chosen people are the people who live in the Spirit of God. And if you think sticking a metal piece up someone's rectum makes you a chosen person, and you can do that, we believe in different gods. And all the people who call them Christians, all these evangelicals that are anti-abortion, but boy, they're pro-war, aren't they? All these people that call themselves Christians that keep supporting war. What Christ do you believe in? I'm a warrior for the Prince of Peace. He doesn't support war. The God of the chosen people doesn't support war and killing. Where are all the religions? They got lockjaw. They're not out there. They should be out in the streets. What's going on against the Palestinian people? Could you imagine? Can you imagine being one of these people? Your whole city being bombed to ruins? Living in a tent and then getting bombed over there? Your children going out of their mind? People going out of their minds? And getting away with it. World War III's begun. If we don't stop it, it's finished. They're going to nuke us. They're going nuclear. These are maniacs. So please do what you can or do nothing. They say that the greatest threat or the greatest sadness of people that are dying is they didn't become the best person they could have while they were alive. So support Occupy Peace. Go to occupypeace.com, occupypeace.com. Come to the rally on September 28th at the Four Corners of Freedom, John and Crown Street. It's the most historic Four Corners in America. The only place with pre-Revolutionary War stone buildings on each corner where the seeds of democracy were sown. So we'll see you then. And we'll be back, of course, before that. Thank you. Amen and amen.